Now, get a load of how much effort and money we have spent eradicating wallabies down south. You are going to love this, okay? Apparently, this has cost more than $2.7 million. More than 26,000 hours have been tied up doing this between July 2020 and February this year. And how many wallabies have we managed to kill for $2.7 million and 26,000 hours? 18. This has all come out of an OIA to Biosecurity New Zealand by the Taxpayers Union. The Executive Director, Jordan Williams, is with us. Hey, Jordan.
Yeah, welcome back, Heather.
After the one person class reduction, we should have probably had the Minister out announcing the eradication of 18 wallabies, don't you think?
Yeah, it is a bit silly. The context of this, as you'll recall, during COVID, the government rolled out the door this Make Work scheme, Jobs for Nature. It was in the context of when we thought there'd be mass unemployment. We've been looking into it simply because, well, clearly that never happened. And it just astounded. This was only our second OIA looking into where this money's going. It took MPI 6 months to answer, and no wonder. We're spending $153,000 per wallaby killed or eradicated, is the term they use, down in Otago. Look, at that price, it would have been cheaper to get each one a private jet to send them back to Australia.
Jordan, how do you spend $2.7 million on it? What has this gone to?
Well, it's gone for a little bit of aerial shooting, but not very much. It's basically the equivalent of sending someone out in the bush for 9 years to go and look for wallaby. And the most efficient way of doing it would have been thermal imaging cameras and helicopters. But instead, what this is all about is creating jobs. You know, stuff the actual context that we've got record low unemployment. This is about, we don't care what you do, we just need you to do something to create a job. And it's illustrative of why this Jobs for Nature scheme should just be shut down. It was $2.7 billion. They still haven't allocated $200 million. That's still to come. You know, this is just the tip of the iceberg and shows we don't need wasteful money, Jobs for Nature type schemes because, of course, it's broken windows fallacy. All of that money is coming out of the economy and is costing jobs for officials to say, look, we've created a job. Well, frankly, we don't need someone wandering around for 9 years looking for wallaby in Otago, especially when last time I looked, there's wallaby in Canterbury and there's no fence in between.
Yeah, Jordan, $2.3 million on surveillance. What's going on there?
Well, you look into some of the detail, and what they appear to have done is done it in a deliberately expensive way that requires lots of labour, lots of man hours.
So we're deliberately taking ourselves back to the 1970s, Barry Crump.
Yeah, well, Barry Crump would be hopping mad if he knew about this. You know, why not just put on a bounty for because I don't know about you, Heather. I'm not a very good shot, but even I would get out there into the bush if I was going to be paid $153,000 a wallaby.
Yeah, totally. Well, yeah, I think both of us could probably do better than the 18. All right, listen, Jordan, though, fundamentally, as much of a joke as this is, fundamentally, the Jobs for Nature scheme, I'm surprised that is still going. That was designed to stimulate the economy. The economy is overstimulated. We don't need it. Why are we still running this thing?
Well, it's more basic than that. It was designed to be a mop-up for people that were made unemployed due to COVID. The moment we bounced back quickly and it was clear that we weren't going to have mass unemployment, it should have been scrapped. Instead, officials are still, and these are not small numbers, there's still 200 million left remaining in this. And what this example shows, and don't you worry, we've got plenty more coming, what this example shows is that it is like the old railways department. You're not doing things the most efficient way. You're simply creating jobs for the sake of creating jobs. In a context where you can't get labour in New Zealand at the moment, it's absolutely nuts. It should be scrapped.
Brilliant stuff. Jordan, thanks very much for talking us through that. It's Jordan Williams, Executive Director of the Taxpayers Union, who did the OIA to get this information out. So, just to give you some of the numbers behind this, I don't know, is this worse than the consultants or are the consultants worse than the wallabies? They're up there with each other, aren't they? Anyway, so it's cost $153,000 per wallaby destroyed. An average of 1,500 hours of human labour per wallaby. Geez, you got to hate your life if this is what you're doing with your life, eh? Imagine if you toiled for 1,500 hours and at the end of it you go, and I killed one wallaby. Yeah, better work stories, everyone. $340,000 spent on aerial shooting, aka going up in a chopper and shooting down. $34,000 on ground shooting. $71,000 on ground toxin. And then $2.3 million on surveillance. I don't understand. This is an idea straight from the Greens have plucked this idea from the 1970s. This is the nonsense my dad was doing with deer and the urueras in the 1970s, and they've decided to roll it out in the 2020s. Things have changed. Anyway, 9292, you can let me know what you think. 4:15.